Alright, so I'll quickly go over the deck since we did get a few new changes with Kaladesh. So the idea of the deck is still the same. It's to play a Gate to the Afterlife, have 6 or more creatures in the graveyard, and then transform it into God-Pharaoh's Gift, which can reanimate creatures from our graveyard into 4/4 zombies. And it combines especially nicely with Combat Celebrant, which if you exert it, it lets you get an extra attack phase, which means you get to get an additional creature from the graveyard with God-Pharaoh's Gift. And the more Combat Celebrants, the more creatures you get to make in one turn, and sometimes you just get to kill your opponent on the spot. Then the rest of the deck, we've got Minister of Inquiries as a nice addition that can mill ourselves, put a ton of extra creatures in the graveyard, make it easier to transform Gate. We also have Bomat Courier, which can sacrifice itself, so it's a nice way to trigger a Gate when it's in play, since when a creature dies with Gate in play, you get to draw and discard a card, and Bomat Courier is just a nice creature by itself that can get some value against the more controlling decks. We've got Fanatical Firebrand, which we can also sacrifice to get that Gate trigger, take out 1 toughness creatures, and that also combines nicely with our next card, Warkite Marauder. Shrinks creatures into 0/1s when it attacks, so we can take down those 0/1 creatures with the Firebrand afterwards, or now also with Walking Ballista, which is the other important addition from Kaladesh, or Aether Hub rather. And moving on, we have Champion of Wits, another nice creature to get back with the God-Pharaoh's Gift, since you get to draw 4, discard 2 if you eternalize it with the God-Pharaoh's Gift. And just a nice creature by itself, helps us look for the missing combo pieces. 2 Trophy Mages to search up a Gate to the Afterlife, make the deck a little bit more consistent. The Celebrants I already mentioned, same with the Gate. 2 Viziers, which can also copy Combat Celebrants to keep comboing off when you're chaining together Combat Celebrants. 2 copies of God-Pharaoh's Gifts, and then for Walking Ballista, nice mana sink, and also good in combination with Warkite Marauder. And you can also play it for 0 in some situations just to trigger the Gate, put an extra creature in the graveyard. And then our mana base, nothing fancy, 4 Rivulets to mill ourselves, put more creature in the graveyard, 5 islands, 5 mountains, 4 Spirebluff, enters untapped if it's one of our first 3 lands, which is important in this build since we're a pretty low curve deck that wants untapped mana in the early game. And then 4 Aether Hub, more untapped mana that also combines with our Minister for additional activations. Alright, so that's the deck we'll be battling with. And let's jump in a quick constructed. The deck isn't amazing against Mono Red since they have a Braids for the gift, and Chain Whirler hits a lot of our 1 toughness creatures, so it's probably not the wisest choice to bring this to a quick constructed, but it's a fun deck, and I want to show it off. This hand's definitely a keep. We've got our Gate, which you always want in your opener. Double Firebrand is great. And I think we just want to play the Warkite Marauder here, just because it combos nicely with our Firebrand in play already. And we also just have a nice beatdown draw with this hand. Alright, Legion Lieutenant, we can take that guy out. Ooh, and a Minister. I think we still want to run out the Gate first, make sure to kill the Legion Lieutenant while we still can. So we'll play Gate, attack with the Warkite Marauder, shrink this, and then we can kill it with the Firebrand and get a trigger from our Gate, which can help us discard Vizier. Alright, so a nice start. A Radiant Destiny, not looking great here, at least not yet. So we've got 2 creatures in the graveyard. Very unlikely that we get to completely go off this turn. We could use Firebrand to kill our own Warkite Marauder, put essentially 3 creatures in the graveyard. I guess we get 2 triggers, so if we do draw a creature right away, then that works. I think I'm willing to try and go for it. And if we fail, we can just play Minister of Inquiries and go from there. Alright, perfect. Another trigger. And Combat Celebrant, wow, perfect. So now we get to, I guess, play Spirebluff, doesn't matter a ton. Could have also gone Island, played Minister, I suppose. But this game's gonna be over real quick. Get a gate, or a gift rather, get Celebrant, we already have a Vizier. Exert. And that's essentially why you play a version with this many creatures. We even took out the Charter cores that were in the previous build of the deck, just to have a higher density of creatures, make it more likely for these situations to happen. And that does it. We're gonna attack for 8, and our opponent's dead. So nice turn 4 kill on the play. Not much our opponent could do about it. Alright, let's see if we can repeat that performance. This sounds not as great, of course. We don't have a gate in our opening hand, but we do have a reasonable draw of just 1, 2, 3. So I'll keep. How consistent is that combo? I mean, it's pretty consistent if you have the gate in your opening hand. That's the kind of limiting factor. But it certainly doesn't happen every game. And by going Mountain turn 1, our opponent thinks we're mono red, so they might play the removal differently. But it's probably still correct for them to kill the courier anyways. Alright, blue-black control. Blue-black is not as difficult as blue-white, since blue-white has access to more ways to deal with our artifacts, rather. But it's still gonna be tricky if we don't find a gate. Alright, opponent takes it after some consideration. I think we just run out to champion, hope it doesn't get syncopated. That would be the most annoying card, since I would exile our champion. If they have a moment of craving, they could use it in response to the trigger, so we don't get to draw any cards. By reducing the Champion of Wits' power, they don't. Alright. Alright, Trophy Mage is exactly what we were looking for. And we want to discard the Celebrant. And also just want to have extra lands for when we eventually do eternalize Champion of Wits, which does happen against control decks. But yeah, if we can resolve Trophy Mage and resolve Gate, we're in a good spot. If we don't, then we'll see. Then we need to hit our land drops until 7, where we can hopefully eternalize Champion of Wits at some point. If our opponent plays a Scarab God on turn 5, then we could also be in trouble if we don't have the combo assembled. Oof, and they're playing red, which means they could have a Braid in their deck as an answer to the gift. So that makes things more difficult. Alright, Bomat Courier. So we are on schedule for a gift if our opponent plays a sweeper next turn. Since we can go attack, then play Trophy Mage. If they play sweeper, we get to untap with 5 lands, play Gate, transform Gate, since we'll have enough creatures in the graveyard. And our beatdown plan is coming together nicely as well. Let's see if our opponent pulls the trigger on a removal spell, or if they are patient. I think we're still running out the Trophy Mage here. If they have Essence Scatter, they have Essence Scatter. And then we're maybe on the Bomat Courier plan for the time being. Syncopate's even more annoying than Essence Scatter. So now a sweeper would not be a welcome sight. What do I think of Ascanta here? Well, we are pretty light on non-creature spells, so it would not be very good. It's fine in the blue-white version of the deck, where you try to refurbish a gift, but in this version with Gate, it's a bit of a non-bow with the rest of the deck. I mean, it's fine that it mills cards off the top, of course, but once it transforms, it doesn't do much for you. If your opponent has Hour of Devastation next turn, then we don't have a ton left. We're 2 lands away from eternalizing Champion of Wits. But we are beating down somewhat reasonably well. Ooh, Glorybringer, that's a good one. Well, our opponent is at 4, so... we're not too far away from killing them. And that's actually a pretty good one here. Alright, let's see if our opponent has 2 removal spells. Or a sweeper. If not... alright, got there. So yeah, sometimes the beatdown draw comes together. And that's always nice. And got a Kitesail Freebooter, not bad. And we've got another nice beatdown draw. So we are up against red-black. So we can definitely expect Chain Whirler to happen next turn. Think I'm okay using Aether Hub here on the Firebrand. And we'll keep the Firebrand on defense to block and sack a courier. Block on the fresh one, destroy the older one. Alright, so here, I think we just play the gate, hope they don't have a braid, and next turn go Ballista, kill Courier. Instead of the other way around. This is a bit more mana efficient if we find a land. Pia, sure. There's a Celebrant, that's part of what we need. Did not find a land though, so Walking Ballista only for 1. I think we need it as a blocker, but kind of want to kill the Courier right now, or in the draw step at least. Could also play a Champion of Wits. Discard Celebrant plus Warkite Marauder. Take a beating for a turn. And then next turn, if we have the land, we could go Ballista, sack, and transform Gate. That might actually be better. Alright, I'm down. So we're trying to find lands here. Alright, definitely just ditching these 2 Celebrants. So we did not find land number 4 yet, which is unfortunate. Do get a trigger from the Gate here. And if our opponent has an Abrade at any point, we're also in trouble. Probably just ditching the Marauder. So we've got 6 creatures in the graveyard, so if they don't have an Abrade, we could go off next turn. 1 card in hand, but they also have the Bomat Courier, which will have 4 cards underneath. So essentially 5 cards to have an Abrade. Should not be dead here unless they have a Lightning Strike. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, Lightning Strike kills us. Alright, they had the Abrade. That's unlucky. And since we didn't hit our land drop last turn, we can't go Gate plus Activate in the same turn. And I don't think we can stay alive for another turn here, despite the Ballista for 2. So down to 3. I guess 2 Ballistas for 1 is slightly better. We're dead to a Chain Whirler, we're dead to basically anything. But we'll give it a shot. And then next turn we need to top deck a land and be able to kill our opponent in 1 turn. It's gonna be difficult, but there's a chance. We need them to have stuff like Heart of Kiran that doesn't do anything this turn, lands. Yeah, that works. I guess we're dead that way as well. Yep, they can just kill us with a Chain Whirler. Yeah, I didn't see that line at first, but that does make sense. We can kill Pia, but we take exactly 3 from the Chain Whirler. Alright. Good job on the opponent for seeing that, I guess. No, that doesn't work. Kill Pia. And hope they somehow use a removal spell on their own Chain Whirler. Alright. And gotta try. Alright, so that's our first loss to a timely Abrade. I think if we hit our land drops there, we might have been able to get there with the second Gate. But yeah, opponent was just a little bit too fast. This hand's not amazing. Don't have the Gate. If this were a Gate, this would be an easy keep. And we're on the draw. I think we mulligan. Since we only have Bomat Courier's early plays that we really want to make, with a 7-drop that we don't really want to discard with the Courier, so we'll go to 6. This one's a keep. We've got our Trophy Mage, which finds gates. And now we just need to find some lands. Alright, found a gate anyways. That's good. Do we want to run out a Warkite Marauder on 2 or a Walking Ballista? I think we play Warkite for now. Reason not to play Warkite is to preserve our colored mana for Trophy Mage, but we've got a bunch of colorless cards in hand, so we'll be fine. Alright, history. So maybe a black-white Benalia deck with Scrap Heap and friends. They do have Cast Outs and maybe even Ixalan's Binding as potential removal spells. But we still have the Trophy Mage to go get an additional gate if we have to, so I think I'll attack, deal 2. Could also Ballista for 1 and kill this, but I think I want to play the gate first, so yeah. Our plan is going to be to, next turn, even if we miss a land drop, we can Ballista for 1, take out a Knight token, and start looting with the gate. Alright, Anointed Procession. So they've got a token-heavy build of the deck, and Minister is perfect. So, play Minister, pay blue. Attack, shrink a token, play Ballista, and shoot a token. And get to loot with our gate, look for lands, and discard Celebrants. Alright, so far so good. We have a replacement gate in the form of Trophy Mage. And we'll just take 4. Let's see if they have one of those removal enchantments for the gate. Nope, just a Karn. That's fine.
I have faced worse than the likes of these. I'll make use of that later.
Yeah, I'll give them the history, I think. They can't play Fatal Push this turn, but it can kill our tokens from God-Pharaoh's Gift potentially, so I'll give him a history, even though it does combo with the Anointed Procession. Alright, let's start by milling ourselves. I guess there's no reason to mill ourselves when there's no way to have 6 creatures in the graveyard this turn yet. So, suppose we can just attack. And there's no point attacking Karn, I don't think. Shrink the token. Play another Trophy Mage. It's gonna use up an energy, but that's fine. We shouldn't need a ton of mill effects from the Minister to win here. Maybe should have just played the second Warkite Marauder here instead of the Trophy Mage, just because it does combine well with the combo. Well, this is an easy block. Don't love all these gifts in our hand, but I think we still need to get rid of a Marauder, increase our chances of being able to flip the gate. Hidden stockpile, yep. So that was the reason for them to want to make the trade, so they could make a whole bunch of tokens. Those deserts aren't doing them any favors. Alright. And Karn can also minus, yep, they're going on the beatdown plan here. Alright, let's mill ourselves. Yeah, we'll definitely need our flyers to win this game. And looks like we can transform our gate here. So let's put a gift in play. Play another gate, because why not? And get back Combat Celebrant first, I think, just to exert, get an extra attack in with our 2-power flyer, which can also shrink something down twice, essentially. So exert, opponent, opponent, might as well attack with the Minister. I guess we can maybe keep the Minister back. Does let us loot with the gate, and we might find another Combat Celebrant with it, but chances are pretty low, and we might need the Chum Blocker. So this is probably fine. And we'll shrink one of these. And then get back our flyer here. Put our opponent to 3. Alright, so opponent needs to find a kill next turn, which I guess it could, since they do have quite the army. But we have a Chum Blocker, so we'll see. Opponent can also get back Fatal Push and try and kill one of our creatures that way.
Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine.
Alright, definitely chomping. Try and put some more flyers in the graveyard. Bomat Courier. I guess we can just hardcast a Bomat Courier. So I'll discard the gift, which isn't doing much for us. Hold on a second. Let's see. 1, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, I should have actually discarded the Bomat Courier, so we could have transformed the second gate. I guess we can still sacrifice it, so it's still fine. Oof, Fumigate, alright. It's only a temporary solution though, so it's not the underworld. Now I'll discard Firebrand, I think. Alright, so now what? I think we just fire off the Firebrand on the token, loot again. Try to find more Combat Celebrants and friends. That's a good one to discard. And then probably just transform this. And get another one of those. And then we can play Bomat Courier, attack with it and sack it as well. Alright, so let's see here. We could get Trophy Mage back, or we can just get the flyer. So I think we get the flyer and the Champion of Wits. Actually, I thought the triggers were going to resolve in the other order. So I should have clicked on Champion of Wits first, since that could have discarded a Combat Celebrant, and then we could have just gone back to Combat Celebrant instead. Alright, did not get punished. So let's discard, I guess, just the 2 lands. Attack. Attack with everyone. So this is fine. Opponent's jumps. That's fine. And don't think we're sacking the Bomat Courier, so I'm just gonna play out the Firebrand. And they can't. I guess we should maybe just kill or deal 1 damage to Karn so they can't minus and make a bunch of tokens with it. This seems fine. 3rd chapter of History Benalia happens.
Are you certain of your decision?
Alright, so we're back on track. Opponent gets to make a bunch of 1/1s. That's all fine. So we can just play a Ballista for 2. Deal 2 to our opponents. Put them to 6. Do we have any other flyers? We don't. But I guess just clearing 2 blockers might also be good enough. Yeah, I should have kept up red mana for the courier there. I should not count on the auto tap feature. So, yeah, I think we just kill 2 of the 1/1s here. Opponent's gonna sack it with the hidden stockpile. Justice Cry 1. That's fine. Alright, what do we get back? I guess Bomat Courier is an option. Fanatical Firebrand's an option. Could just get some energy with Minister or get another gate with the Trophy Mage. I guess Trophy Mage sounds appealing. Could also just get a Walking Ballista, start putting counters on it next turn. The gate's not gonna do a ton for us anymore, but it's something, I guess. Get Minister. Could also mill ourselves. Yeah, what we could have also done is get back Minister and mill ourselves before getting back the 2nd card with the God-Pharaoh's Gift. Either way, we're fine here. I'll send this at Karn, and these are their opponents. And they can still minus, get back a Fatal Push. But that's about it.
Your patience is rewarded.
Instead they go for Anointer Priest. Might be a bit late for the Anointer Priest now. I guess they do get 4 tokens here and gain 4 life. So they can kinda stay alive. Or that also works, sacrifice it and then embalm it. Could even be 12 life, not sure. We'll find out in a second. Alright, opponent's at 11. And then 4 more triggers. So yeah, it was 12 life. Alright, let's play Champion of Wits. Discard the other Champion of Wits. I think we're better off milling ourselves in the hopes of finding a Combat Celebrant to close out the game. Alright, there we go. And then a move to combat. We'll get back Champion of Wits. We'll get back Combat Celebrant. And there's a flyer as well. And a Vizier. So yeah, this game should be over. As long as we don't time out. Opponent did not kill our Combat Celebrant, so now we get to copy it with the Vizier of Many Faces, and that should definitely do it. Alright. Maybe there was a line somewhere where we could have won sooner, maybe get Minister earlier, start milling ourselves. But anyways, we got there. This ends pretty good. Double gate, Champion, Ballista to trigger the gates. Just need a third land. Can also play our Ballista for 0 if it comes to it. Just to trigger the gates. Think we still run out Team Marauder given the Ballista to maybe clear a Winding Constrictor. Alright, so here can play Champion, can play Gate, can also Ballista the Aetherborn. But I don't think I want to do that yet, given that we have land number 4. So I think we just play Gate here. And attack for 2. And then next turn we have the option of Ballista for 2, shoot down the Aetherborn. And if they're black-green, it could also have Glintleaf Siphoner as another target for Ballista. Alright, opponent back up to 20, down to 18. Let's see what their play is. They're looking at our Warkite Marauder. Cast down, that's fine. Get a nice little trigger from our gate. And I think we just want to discard a gift. Since Champion of Wits is still pretty useful as a card. So now the Walking Ballista for 2 plan doesn't look as good. So I think we just play Champion of Wits here. Alright, so can discard Trophy Mage, and this is actually close since opponent could have Thrashing Brontodon to blow up the gate, so I don't want to get rid of the second gate necessarily. So I might actually just get rid of the Ballista, and then we can play Minister of Inquiries here, which can also help us mill. And then we have the backup gate in case they have a Brontodon. And we already have 3 creatures in the graveyard, so if we get super lucky with the Minister, we could get there. And I guess we can also mill ourselves with Ipnu Rivulet, so we have a pretty high chance of having enough creatures in the graveyard next turn. I'll take it. Could have blocked with the Champion of Wits there, but figure we can get more value out of it. Alright, so let's see here. Opponent's keeping up 4 mana. It's a little suspicious, but let's mill ourselves. Alright. And still only 4 creatures in the graveyard, so it's not super likely that we get there with Ipnu Rivulet. So I think I would rather just wait a turn. Play another gate. And now I'm more tempted to chum block the Gifted Aetherborn with the Champion of Wits, get 2 triggers. And then we should be in prime position to transform maybe even 2 gates next turn. Alright, opponent passes. Fanatical Firebrand was a nice draw. Let's mill ourselves. There's a Combat Celebrant, which is probably going to get killed by a spot removal spell from the opponent. Play a Firebrand. And could also just kill our own Champion of Wits here, which actually sounds pretty good. Getting back Champion of Wits is a nice way to get some card advantage. And we also get 2 triggers, or 4 triggers rather. Don't need another gate. And probably don't need another Minister. Maybe the land is worse. Sure. Alright, discard Vizier. And I guess now I'll discard the Minister. Alright, so now we can transform both gates. Move to combat. And I'm not gonna go for the Celebrant yet, I don't think, just because they might have removal for it. If we find one with the Champion of Wits, I might go for it anyways, just to force the issue. Alright, now I guess I'll go for it. So they're gonna kill the Celebrant here, so we don't get the extra turn, but never mind. Alright, I guess our opponent's just super dead then. Can also mill ourselves again with the Minister. Don't think we have to mill ourselves with the Minister since we have plenty of targets here. So we'll get another Celebrant. And then we'll get Vizier. I guess we can get Warkite Marauder first before getting Vizier. Yeah, let's just get Vizier. Copy Celebrant again. Attack. Exert, exert. And these should stack, if I'm correct. So we should get 2 additional turns of attacking. So, opponent blocks. Get 2 more 4/4s. And that should be the game. Unless, oh no. I think we ran out of time. And now it's all buggy. I guess we get a Warkite Marauder anyways, but yeah. It looks like we skipped our turn because it took too long with all the Combat Celebrant triggers. So now we exerted the Celebrants for no good reason. And now it's the opponent's turn. So yeah, maybe should have clicked through it a bit faster, but yeah, that's kind of the problem with combo decks in Arena right now, is that you don't always have enough time to execute the combo. But we should still be able to win next turn. Don't think there's a card that gets our opponent out of this mess. Alright, let's just play Firebrand, attack. Sure, I guess we'll get some more Marauders. Minister. Alright, that should do it. Not even gonna exert. Should be 5-1 now, I believe, with blue-red gifts in this constructed event. This sounds interesting. No gates, double minister. Think we can keep. Do I prefer blue-red gift or blue-white gift? They're both pretty fun. I like the turns you take with the Combat Celebrants in blue-red more than the blue-white. Blue-white gift is kind of a mixture of control and combo, while blue-red is more towards the combo side of things, maybe a bit of aggro as well, although it's a pretty bad aggro deck. Alright, opponent killed our minister. Now we can go Bomat Courier into another minister. And Crop Crasher gets in. Alright. I think we just run out of Combat Celebrants. Hope they don't have a Magma Spray. People now playing Shock most of the time.
I know. I am hot, aren't I?
Opponent attacks us. We could just take it, and then opponent's probably gonna minus Chandra, which is fine. Worst case scenario is a plus Chandra for a removal spell. Yep, I was afraid of that.
Today's my lucky day.
Alright, just a Karizev. Does have first strike though, so it's still pretty annoying. Alright. Ooh, we milled the gate that we were gonna draw. It's unfortunate. This Karizev is actually quite annoying. Can't really attack past it. We might have to just use the Bomat Courier in the hopes of drawing into a gate with it. This got ugly. Yeah, I think we just attack with Courier, sacrifice it. These ballistas aren't doing us any favors. Alright, there's our gate, perfect. So now I don't mind our chances, as long as they don't have an Abrade. Do need 2 turns to play gate and transform it, so we're a little bit slow out of the gate here, quite literally.
Yup, you're going down.
Alright, opponent kills our Celebrant for us. Does let them attack with their Crasher more freely. Definitely in the market for trading here, never mind. Opponent can prevent everything from blocking. Alright, they let us block. That's good. So, wanna block here, and then shoot this one. Makes sense. And mill ourselves. If they have removal spell for Minister, that would be unfortunate. Alright. So we're at 11. We shouldn't die next turn. And hope they don't have an Abrade, basically. If their last card is Hazoret, I guess we're dead. But we're playing to win here and not to not lose.
This'll be easy.
Alright, 2 damage to us. Lightning Strike also kills us. Bomat does not. Alright, let's find out what our last card is here. So far so good. Are they gonna slow roll an Abrade here? That would be pretty brutal. Is it better to play Firebrand, sack it now that the gate's in play to gain a life, or just keep it back as a blocker? I guess it doesn't really matter. We're probably dead anyways. So I guess we want to play a Champion of Wits so we can potentially mill over more Combat Celebrants. Alright. Doesn't look like we'll be able to kill our opponent this turn anyways, so even if they didn't have the Abrade, I don't think we could win. But it looks like they even have the Abrade. Yep. Alright. Never gonna win this game if they had the Abrade. GG's. So let's see, we would have gotten back Combat Celebrant, Exert, but then we don't have anything else. We don't have Vizier of Many Faces, we don't have a second Combat Celebrant, so we would have died on the following turn anyways, even without the Abrade. Alright, it's unfortunate. Alright, how about this hand? No gate, double Marauder on the draw. This hand's still reasonable, I think. Turn 1 Minister is pretty good. And then double Marauder, if we're on the beatdown plan, combined with the Firebrand, is pretty good. Alright, looks like we're up against the Snake deck. Alright, perfect. It's always nice when you draw gate. So now our opponent has to... I mean, the Snake deck doesn't typically run Fatal Pushes, so yeah, we should be in the clear here. So let's play Rivulet, play Marauder, say go. And our opponent didn't even have a turn 2 play, so that's interesting. Snake deck has a ton of turn 2 plays, instead it's a Yahenni, so they might just be on something completely different. Alright, Yahenni works. No attacks, we'll mill ourselves. Alright, so I like our chances this game. Especially with these kinds of mills. So play Spirebluff. We could wait until we can play and activate gate to play around something like a Brontodon, for example. I don't hate that. Can also kill Yahenni here with the Firebrand. Right, I guess our plan this turn is gonna be to play another Warkite Marauder and a Firebrand and just get in. We also don't want to grow the Yahenni by sacrificing our creatures early on. No double green yet, so Brontodon's not a concern yet. Rishkar's fine. +1/+1 counters are annoying with the Warkite Marauder, since they still give +1/+1 even after you make it into a 0/1 creature. So you have to keep that in mind. But we should be okay here. End of turn, mill ourselves with Minister. We have an Aether Hub to do it again. Ballista's fine. Opponent does now have multiple green mana thanks to Rishkar, so they could potentially play a Brontodon next turn. So I don't know yet how we're gonna handle it. Alright, 4 creatures in the graveyard so far. And a Combat Celebrant is a nice one. So thrashing Brontodon would be annoying. We can only attack with the Marauders. The Firebrand can't get in there since the Rishkar will be a 1/2. Can mill ourselves again by playing Aether Hub. And I kind of want to keep Celebrant in hand to discard to the Gate. And I think we want to keep Gate as secrets if we can help it. And it's not super likely that they have Doomfall or Duress in the main deck compared to Brontodon. So I'll just attack with the Warkite Marauders here. And I think we just pass a turn. It's a bit wasteful not to use our mana there, but and as long as they don't play Brontodon, we should be able to win next turn. I'll definitely just take it here, since we want to wait until we have a gate in play before we sacrifice Fanatical Firebrand, so we can discard the Celebrants. And our opponent can't have Brontodon up. The best they can have is Naturalize or Doomfall right now for the gate. Alright, that should be game. Suppose they can take out the 2 Marauders, but that's fine. The fact that we have double Celebrant coming up, plus Vizier, yeah, it's definitely just game. Alright, sweet. So let's try and go through our next turn quickly. I'll try not to talk too much. Untap. Play Gates. Sack Firebrand while Gate's still in play. So we can discard Celebrants. Also puts the opponent to 12, which is relevant when we're hitting 4/4 every time. Can mill ourselves again with Minister. And then sack Gate. And yeah, we have plenty of Celebrants to copy here with the Viziers. Alright, I think our opponent knows they're dead. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Another Celebrant. And now we can get a Vizier. Alright. Shouldn't be timing out on this one. So that puts us to 6-1 in this event. Or 6-2, I think. So let's see if we can win that last one. Alright, time for the last one. This opening hand doesn't have gates, but it is okay as a beatdown draw. Turn 1 Courier, turn 2 Marauder, turn 3 Celebrant, not bad. So I'm tempted to keep. Ooh, nice. I love seeing that. Against blue-black control, we'll take it slow, try to resolve our gate when they're tapped out. And otherwise we're just going to play a Champion of Wits, I think. Disallow. Alright, took them a while to counter it, so maybe they're light on counter spells, who knows. At some point they have to answer our creatures in play, and that's when we are going to try and sneak in the gate. If they have something like cast down plus negate, that would be annoying, since then they can still counter the gate after dealing with the courier. Alright, looks like our opponent's being patient, so we'll keep just adding more creatures to the board. And playing a tapped Spirebluff. Suppose we could have played Island, keep up courier activation, but I'm not gonna discard a gate. So I'm happy with this exchange. I imagine if our opponent had Fatal Push, they would have used it already, so it doesn't look like they have it. Alright, so let's see what they do here. A Scarab God could be an issue, since we don't have a 1 damage effect to finish it off. But an interesting interaction with Warkite Marauder and Scarab God is that if you shrink it down into an 0-1, it also loses all abilities, so if you then kill it with a Firebrand or Ballista, it doesn't return to their hand, which is very important. Alright, double gate, that works. So now I'll play it main phase, just in case we want to sack courier. Alright, till I resolve. So don't mind this. Blue-black doesn't have a lot of answers to resolved gate. Mostly commit to memory, blink of an eye. Let's get in there. Alright, opponent's not doing much. Uses the opportunity to Glimmer. Could sack Courier to play around Disallow, but I don't think we want to sack Courier necessarily, given that we have gate number 2 coming up. So I like our position. Opponent still has to deal with the creatures we have in play. We have Gate as a form of pressure, Champion of Wits as a form of pressure. Don't have a ton of creatures in the graveyard yet, so that's the only thing we're missing. And at some point we can also just start hard casting God-Pharaoh's Gift. That's also a valid strategy. Alright, land number 5. Is this where they jam a Scarab God? Nope, the Fairy. Alright, so they were splashing white, which is why they maybe have some mana issues. So that does give them an answer to Gate. That's fair.
This isn't a fight you can win.
I'm fine if they just bounce Gate here. Then they lose the Fairy, instead they're gonna plus. Which is a typical play. But with 2 mana they can't have too much interaction left. So I'm just fine with this. Alright, so opponent lets us untap. We'll play a land. Play Gate. And now we can freely sacrifice a courier if we want to. Don't need to worry about disallow countering the trigger. I think we can ignore the Fairy here. Alright, Fatal Push. I suppose I should have... I could have sacked Courier first, but I guess it doesn't matter too much, since we're just gonna discard all our good cards anyways. Damage, and now I think I'm okay sacking the Courier. And draw 6. Alright, and yeah, I'm okay sacking a Gate now to play around disallow. Opponent can minus with the Fairy, but that's okay. I guess we'll get the one from the graveyard to play around any graveyard hate shenanigans. So opponent has to minus the Fairy. Nope, they're gonna plus. That's interesting. So do they have an other answer to God-Pharaoh's Gift that I don't know about? Maybe a cast out? Scarab God. That's gonna be a tad too slow. So... Alright, let's sequence things properly here. So definitely want to put this other Celebrant in the graveyard, so we get 2 of them. Don't have a third God-Pharaoh's Gift, so that's not gonna work. So I guess we can also kill the Scarab God with the Flyer as well here. But I guess we're better off just getting 2 Celebrants first, so don't want to waste too much time again. Afraid of timing out. So let's play Firebrand, sack. On Scarab God, might as well. Trigger Gate, discard Celebrants, transform Gate into Gifts. And go from there. I'll try to play reasonably quickly here. So we want to get 2 Celebrants. They might disallow one of the triggers, but that's fine. Yep, that's fine. Still get a Combat Celebrant, which is good enough, since then we get 2 more triggers, so... Exert, attack our opponents. Yeah, maybe could have also played Gate, so we could have discarded Vizier to the activation of the Firebrand, and then we would definitely win this turn. But with 2 Celebrants in the graveyard, we should get there anyways. Yep. Yeah, just 2 4-power creatures will do it here. Alright, looks like we got the 7 wins. Sweet. So that kind of showcased the power of Bomat Courier to an extent against control decks, letting us draw 6 cards at some point. Alright, cool. So we got our 7 wins in the end. And get a Lifecraft Awakening, a Forebear's Blade, and Hour of Revelation. An interesting card to build a control deck around. Problem is that it blows up all your enchantments in white, and that's kind of your removal in white that you have currently. So it's kind of difficult to build around, but it can be very powerful. Alright, sweet. I also want to thank all my patrons for supporting the channel, and you can do so yourself as well over at patreon.com/LegenVD, where you get cool rewards for supporting the channel, as well as getting us closer to our goals, where with every goal reached we will release an additional weekly series. So if you want to see more content, Patreon is the place to go.